Lately, I've been seeing a lot of debates about who gets to call themselves a filmmaker, a cinematographer, DP, videographer, etc. And honestly, I think it's kind of crazy. So I'm going to pose the question, at what point do you get to call yourself a filmmaker? Let's break it down. So historically, being a filmmaker means that you have access to expensive gear like cameras or film stock, or you have a crew, or mainly industry connections. And being a DP or cinematographer would mean that you work on big productions or large sets. And a lot of these individuals have the mindset that you need to have years of experience or have gone to film school or work on real projects in order to earn that title. But honestly, in today's time, that no longer applies. For one, gear is more accessible. A solid camera today costs a fraction of what it did 10 years ago. I mean, FX3 in the right hands could potentially look like a Sony Venice, and to the everyday common viewer, they're not going to notice the difference anyway. Two, access to lighting equipment is easier than ever. You don't need a 10-ton grip truck in order to get a project done. LED technology has come a long way. These new lights are small, still powerful, and relatively affordable. And three, the biggest game changer is that the knowledge is free and readily accessible. YouTube wasn't a thing back then, and even seasoned DPs or cinematographers are on this particular platform giving away the knowledge for free. And some of it may not be free. They have their own version of an online course, but they're giving you knowledge that traditionally you would have had to have gone to film school in order to learn. So anyone who is willing to take those courses or take in the information and then apply it are light years ahead of those who had to go through that process in order to get to where they are. And when I say light years ahead, I'm not saying it as if these new cinematographers are better than the traditional cinematographers. I say that in a sense that their learning curve was not as steep. They were able to take in the information and apply it because everything is so much more accessible. So for those that are still wondering, at what point do you call yourself a filmmaker? I've made this chart for you. Here's a simple question. Do you want to be a filmmaker? No? Well, why are you here? Yes? Okay, let's go to the next step. Second question. Do you have a camera? If no, you can still be a filmmaker. You can just borrow, rent, or use your phone. Just start creating. If yes, okay, go make something. Last question. Are you currently making videos or films? If no, that's fine, but don't let that hold you back. Just start. If yes, congrats, you're a filmmaker. You see, nowhere in this chart does it say wait for permission. You don't need validation from anyone to self-identify as what you want to be in the future. Being attached to the title doesn't define who you are. The only thing that defines who you are in this space and in life in general is the work that you're putting in. So what do you think? When did you actually start calling yourself a filmmaker or a director or a videographer? For me, it was day one. When I picked up a camera for the first time, I called myself a photographer. I called myself a photographer before I even bought a camera. And then when I wanted to switch over to video, I immediately called myself a cinematographer because I knew that I was going to work my way up to that point. And anyone that wanted to hire me, they need to be able to identify as to the service that I provided. So if they're looking for a videographer, then I needed to present myself as such, because if I was still positioning myself as a photographer, how did they know that I offered video services? And fast forward to today, I'm still owning that cinematographer title, even though I'm getting inquiries for director roles in a sense. I haven't necessarily positioned myself as a director, but because of the work that I've been putting in with my spec projects or with the clients that I've been working with, I've low-key been directing and DPing my own projects. So naturally, people see me that way. So it all comes back to the work. Put in the work and the rest will follow. Until the next video, peace.